I had a very bad falling out with my husband after I discovered him on dating apps looking to cheat while I was busy taking care of our 3 kids, and we separated as a result. But my neighbor just told me she caught her husband catfishing other women using my husband's photos, and I realized I'd made a massive mistake. Posted by you/Katrina_92. Hello everyone. My husband, 35M, and I, 30F, married for 8 years, have been separated for the last 14 months, and I need help and advice on how to rekindle our relationship. We are currently not on speaking terms, and all our arrangements go through our lawyers, but I will have an opportunity over Christmas to clear the air and set things straight, as he will be flying in from Sydney to spend time with the kids. So what happened? I received a Facebook message in September last year that my husband was talking and exchanging naked photos with other women on Tinder. We spoke on the phone for a bit, and the only proof she had was a screenshot of their conversations and his profile. Long story short, I downloaded Tinder and found his profile, with his location less than 1 kilometer away. I was convinced that he was cheating, and we had a terrible fallout that evening, which led to my family coming over to calm the situation, but instead, it escalated when my brother punched and grabbed hold of my husband. The neighbors called the police, and my husband was asked to pack a few things and stay elsewhere for a while. We separated shortly after, and he has since moved to Sydney to be closer to his ailing father but sees our kids for a weekend twice a month. Fast forward to the beginning of November this year, my neighbor showed up at my doorstep to tell me that her husband was catfishing women on dating apps using my husband's photos. He had downloaded these photos from a MacBook that we lent him during COVID, and some of these photos were of an intimate nature, including me. The police are currently dealing with this. All of this has been relayed to my husband through his lawyer, but his response has been lukewarm, and he said we could talk about it over Christmas. I'm so scared that we might be too far down the rabbit hole and that he will likely push for a divorce, even though I know that we love each other deeply. This has taken a massive toll on our mental health, finances, and the well-being of our 3 kids. What is the best way to approach him in December and make amends? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Your husband experienced something you will never understand, a false accusation. An assault from your brother. Spousal alienation. No right of recourse against the false accusation. A complete lack of loyalty from his wife. A complete lack of respect from his wife. The loss of the life he had because of a false allegation. Parental alienation from his children. Familial alienation from his in-laws. Alienation from friends. The police were called, and he had to leave. You separated from him. Your husband has already completed his grieving process. You ask if you are too far down the rabbit hole. Yes. I am afraid there is no going back for you. You chose not to listen to him when he said it was not him. Commenter 2. Yeah, up. Try to salvage what you can for him. But I think the way things happened was very damaging. To be clear, I'm not blaming you for wanting to leave when you had clear proof, from your perspective at the time, that he had cheated. It's a reasonable reaction. But the way it took place seems so insanely violent and dramatic. You two got screwed over, not just by your neighbor, but also by your brother. Punching someone is never acceptable. It would have been a sucky and inappropriate reaction even if your husband had, in fact, cheated. Now imagine how your husband must have felt, considering it was entirely unwarranted. Being married is being part of a shared family. The fact that your family got in the middle of it and physically hurt him would make anyone think twice about getting back in. If you really work hard on mending those bridges, if you ensure everyone takes stock and is accountable for their mistakes, and that includes your brother, then you might rebuild your relationship, but it will most probably take time. Commenter 3. If Op had posted here when she originally got the message and found his profile, I guarantee everyone would have been telling her she was stupid for believing her husband when he said it wasn't him, and that she'd be back here in 6 months with an STD. It's weird how self-righteous people are being now with the benefit of knowledge she didn't have. Op's response. Thank you. I thought having a therapist present might help, but I have doubts and think it is better not to involve others. The aftermath was devastating for us both, and even more so for him when his friends and my family wrote him off. I still love him and never stopped, but I know it will be on his terms if he is willing to give it another chance. I am willing to do whatever it takes. Commenter 4. This sub, cheaters are the worst. Leave someone who cheats on you. Don't give them a second chance, don't let them lie to and manipulate you. Also this sub, Op is the devil because she couldn't divine that this clear-cut case of cheating was instead a highly unlikely series of events that resulted in her husband's private photos on an active Tinder account in her direct vicinity, along with proof of that account engaging with women. Like, what the crap, my dudes. Both Op and her husband got screwed over hard by this piece of crap neighbor who is now dealing with the police. It's very uncool that crap got physical, but otherwise Op did what one would expect of her. They're both victims. If Op came on here and laid out the evidence before the truth came to light, none of the users crapping on her now would have been like, talk to him, maybe your neighbor borrowed your computer, stole his photos, and is elaborately catfishing people from 10 feet away. Update 2 months later. Hello everyone. I have had quite a few people ask for an update on what happened after we discovered that my neighbor was using my ex's photos to catfish other women. Unfortunately, after sitting down and discussing things, it was decided that our marriage was beyond repair and that we should go our separate ways. He is currently in therapy and has requested that we have a clean break with no further contact in the future. I intend to respect his wishes and will continue to communicate through his lawyer on matters concerning our kids. I have since cleared the air with our families and friends and still actively work towards repairing his reputation. I would also like to clarify the assault and why my parents came over in the first place. On the night of the argument, I called my mother to ask if I could drop off our kids so they could spend the evening there, but she was concerned about my emotional state and asked me to stay put while they came to fetch the kids instead. They arrived, and my brother opted to stay outside while my parents came inside to grab the kids and their bags. At this point, my father asked to talk to my ex and calm the situation, while my mum dragged me away to get the kids and their bags ready. My brother was very confused when we came outside and was triggered when my mum said that my ex might have cheated. He reacted the moment my ex walked out and grabbed my arm, in a non-violent way, which led to the punch and scuffle on the front lawn. He was remorseful and apologized even before we found out my ex was not to blame. It was a series of unfortunate events that changed many lives and robbed my family of our love and happiness. Now I have to focus on my kids, my depression, and coming to terms with the divorce. I will never forget, but hopefully, the pain won't be as intense. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I feel so horrible for your husband. He needed help, he was a victim. He needed his wife, the one person who should always be by his side. And instead, you divorced him and allowed a brother who could be triggered by events to be there. He was assaulted, he lost his family, and he lost his wife. My heart breaks for him. What do you mean by coming to terms with the divorce? You refuse to hear him out. What is there to come to terms with? The fact that you wouldn't hear him out? Please, if you ever cared for him, even the tiniest bit, do not attempt to rekindle with him. He may be desperate and go for it, but he needs to heal. He needs to find someone who will genuinely back him, love him, and trust him. You've done a lifetime of damage to him. Edit, you say, it is a series of unfortunate events that has changed many lives and robbed my family of our love and happiness. But it was your lack of belief in your husband, your refusal to hear him out, and either spreading the lie or allowing the lie to be spread that destroyed his life, your kids' lives, and robbed them of their love and happiness. Quit acting like you were powerless in all this. You could have heard him out, let him prove it wasn't him, and try to find a different path. Instead, you showed up with a violent brother and took the kids. You either allowed lies to spread uncontested or spread them yourself. Commenter 2. The man will be much better off away from you. Recommend this place to those who are considering living with you, let them read what you wrote. Let them know that you started the conflict by manipulating everyone, and now you are narcissistic enough to act as if everything happened by itself and you are the victim. You didn't explain to your family what you said on the phone. If you hadn't manipulated them, the whole family and your brother wouldn't have come to pick up the kids. I guess this is the first time your brother has attacked someone, and don't try to hide yourself, you're a lousy person. Commenter 3. Your children are paying the price for your drama-hungry family. You have learned very little. Nothing happened without your agency, you were a foundational part of it, not some leaf blown in the wind. Take accountability. I wish your husband the best of luck. Editor's note. Op deleted her account sometime after posting her last update, presumably because of the commenters ripping her to shreds, so no more updates can ever come from that account, but it seems this has already been concluded nonetheless.